Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan, and you know, each and every week I bring you celebrities and the who's who across the country and New Mexico to talk about cool things. Yeah, cool things for you to check out and do right here in New Mexico and at home and all this other good stuff. On today's show, we have the fabulous and fantastic Abby Max talking about how you could save some orphans. Yes, and walk a red carpet, which was like kind of cool. And a little later, I go down to the town of Socorro and check out a little movie theater. Plus, I have your chance to win a pair of passes to see that theater yourself. So if you're in Socorro, I got some passes for you. So get excited for that. And a little later, John Wick Chapter 4, I talked to Pennywise. Wait, what? How does that make sense? It's all right here on New Mexico Rising. Welcome back to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan, and in the non-studio of the place we call Albuquerque Golf and Games is the lovely, talented, and wonderful Abby Max. How are you?
Good.
She's throwing a big event on April 7th over at the Salt Yard West, which is the one next to Cottonwood Mall.
Yes.
And it's to benefit kids. Can you tell me about this event?
Yes, this is going to benefit the VBP Foundation.
What is the VBP Foundation?
It's a foundation that runs an orphanage where the kids are living with HIV.
What brought you to help out this orphanage? What got you there?
I went and I visited the orphanage while I was on a trip in India, and I looked up orphanages in the city I was in, and boom, there's a VBP Foundation.
So you went, hung out over there, met some of the kids, checked it out, and now you're back in the United States, and you decided I need to do something.
Yes.
Good people. Good people. So the event's on the 7th. How can people get involved and help you out with this orphanage?
Buy tickets. Buy tickets.
Right. So how do we get our tickets?
You can go to Eventbrite and you can use a QR code.
All right, we'll put the QR code on the screen. So what do we have to look up in Eventbrite to find your event?
Red Carpet Charity Event.
The Red Carpet Charity Event. So go to eventbrite.com and look up the Red Carpet Charity Event. Who's going to be out there? The photography or?
Yes, the Guerrilla Photo Group.
Okay. GPG. Okay,
yes,
they're going to be out there taking photos.
They're professional photographers, and they'll be there on the red carpet taking your photos.
Music and dancing.
DJ Patrick Baldonado.
All right, he's going to be out there. What about food?
We will have hors d'oeuvres, but please don't come too hungry.
Don't come too hungry.
But if you need a snack, we got your back.
Ah, nice. If you need a snack, that's a nice little rhyme you got there. All right, check it out. It's going to be on April 7th over at Salt Yard West. Please make sure that you get your tickets now, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on this whole event. And it helps out kids. And definitely do this. It's the VBP Foundation. These kids absolutely need your help. And if there's anything we could do to help, we're gonna. So that's what we do. So go get your tickets today. Thank you very much, Abby, for hanging out here. See, she's a wonderful human, kind, philanthropist, world traveler. Okay. We're going to take a little break. We'll be back with more. All right, here in New Mexico Rising, all after this. When you're working in the White House, the one thing you want, is, especially when you're a secret agent, is to never have to work. Because the stakes are so high, and if you could have one office job, it would probably be like some White House security that answering a phone that will never ever ring. Unfortunately, the day that phone rings, all hell breaks loose. And today we're going to be talking about that, exactly how that could happen in the new series on Netflix. Yes, The Night Agent. Today I have Gabriel Basso and Lucianne Buchanan. Hello, you two. How are you?
Hi.
Good. How are you?
All right. Can you guys tell me about this new series on Netflix called The Night Agent and how it goes from a mundane day to action-packed things going on behind the scenes of the White House where there might be an assassination attempt and you can't trust anyone, including maybe the president trying... Wait, no, that wouldn't be good for an assassination attempt. Okay. All right. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well...
I think just politics in general is full of who's really pulling the strings and questions, and I think this whole show plays on that idea of being thrown into the, the viper's nest and not really knowing like you said, when the stakes are so high, not knowing who's on your side and who's getting something to gain out of it. And I think Rose and Peter trying to stay true in their pursuit of truth and find out things in the face of just, so much lying and corruption and fighting smoke at every corner. I think, I think it's a really high stakes, fun, sometimes ride.
Traumatizing.
And you guys do a lot of fight sequences in this, and it's actually you doing the fighting. Can you tell me about some of the getting things together? And I know, Gabriel, you're a fighter, and you do that already, but what is it getting into the role of a secret agent, learning some of the ways that they do it?
I think the biggest thing for me, especially talking with James and Mitch, the fight choreographer and the stunt coordinator, was making the action feel grounded and you're invested in what's happening and damage accrues. And the FBI, a big shift for me was switching from a style that was more like detainment oriented, like I'm not trying to hurt you because that would be my training, I'm just trying to detain you, into I have to get rid of this person as quickly as I can. And the action sort of shifts in the show when the stakes are higher, where I'm not trying to just put a guy on the ground and get a knee on his back. I'm actually trying to just get him out of there as quickly as I can.
So you basically go from Batman to let's eliminate the situation.
Exactly. Yeah, it's safer if the person's not around anymore.
Safer for everyone except for the person that you just took down.
Exactly. Well, they shouldn't have been a traitor. That's on them.
Lucianne, how did you get into the role of becoming Rose?
I just wanted to play her in the most truthful way and everything that she was going through, and even like the comedic beats, I just wanted to play it truthfully, not try be funny or anything. There wasn't too much for me.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. All right, well, check out The Night Agent. It's available now on Netflix. Thank you, two, for joining me this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just in time for spring and Easter brunches, we have one of the top pastry chefs in New York and maybe even the world here to provide expert baking tips and tricks to prepare memorable desserts and make your gatherings, a little extra special. So, award-winning pastry chef Michele Palazzo is teaming up with Plugra, a European-style butter, to share her secrets for elevating dessert recipes at home this Easter. Welcome to the show, Chef Michele Palazzo.
Thank you for having me.
So what makes this a particular time of year for desserts and pastries?
So Easter just feels like a celebration of springtime for me, and springtime for me means I'm gonna get fresher ingredients and new things to try, right? So Easter is the perfect occasions for home chefs to really elevate their Easter recipes this time of year and use Palooga style butter for that.
So why is it important to choose quality ingredients?
So as an executive pastry chef, I can tell you that quality ingredients do matter, and better butter really matters. Butter is such a staple in my kitchens and a lot of my recipes, and I really want to make sure that that flavor and that consistency is there. So Palooga European style butter is made with that 82% butter fat, which is the French standard. And a lot of our regular butters that we're getting is only around 80%. Now that 2% difference may not seem like a lot. I'm telling you, it's gonna produce a flakier crust and richer taste, and actually really elevates my strawberry rhubarb eclairs that I make this time of year.
All right, so what professional baking tips would work for people like us at home?
So first things first is we always want to be using an unsalted butter for all of our baking and our cooking needs. Salted butter is great for finishing, whereas your everyday to-day butter should be unsalted. So another big important tip is temperature of your butter truly does matter. So when you're making like a sablé breton or cakes or cookies, you really want to make sure that that butter is truly at room temperature. Don't put it in the microwave. I know a lot of us tend to do that, but it really does change the emulsion on your butter and we'll get a different result. Whereas the same thing, opposite actually, we want really, really cold butter for things like pie dough and scones. Anything that we want that nice lift, we want to keep it as cold as possible.
Do you have any other baking tips to share?
Of course. Yeah, so we just talked about how temperature is really important. Now, texture of your butter is really important. So when you're making something like a cake or cookies, you want to take your butter, your room temperature butter, and you want to cream your sugar and your butter together. And what that does is that will create air and lift into your baked goods, and then we'll get a nice, super delicate textured crumb.
All right, so what is the benefits of using the premium butter over something else that's, just like there?
So Palooka European style butter is a butter brand that I trust. I've been using it for 10 plus years. It's this staple for pastry chefs and pretty much any kitchen that I kind of walk into. That's our butter that we use all the time. So I know that's going to get the quality ingredients, and that's going to just produce a quality, better tasting dessert.
All right, do you have anything else, or where can we go for more information?
So for more baking tips and recipes, you can visit palooka.com.
Well, thank you for joining me this morning. Remember, better butter builds better bakers. All right. Thank you, guys. And that's it. Well, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much.
And coming up next, I have Heather Graham and Jesse Metcalf talking about their new movie, On a Wing and a Prayer. Yes, that Heather Graham. I'm as surprised as you are that she said yes to this show. Also, I go down to Socorro and hang out at the Loma Theater. And a little later, I got Pennywise in John Wick Chapter 4. That makes no sense, right? It will in just a little bit, right here in New Mexico Rising. When you're stuck on an airplane because your pilot has just passed away, what do? Unfortunately, it becomes an extremely stressful situation, especially when you've only done a couple of days of flight school. So today we have Jesse Metcalf and Heather Graham from On a Wing and a Prayer, who's going to tell us the harrowing story of having to land a plane with very limited and minimal information. So how you doing today?
Great.
Yeah, we're doing great, thanks.
All right, so this is a movie that I saw last night that just, all I have to say is, you guys stressed me out. That's it. You stressed me out
Yes.
from beginning.
We wanted to stress you out. We were trying to stress you out.
I don't need that stress in my life anymore. I was
It's
trying
the edge of your
to.
seat. You're sitting on the edge of your seat, and then I think at the end you get inspired. You feel good.
It's life-affirming.
Yeah. Even when you're going through something hard, it can still work out. That's the message.
All right, yeah, so On a Wing and a Prayer, it's a true story, which is even crazier. After I saw the movie, I had to go through like all of the YouTubes and start watching all these stories of like this movie and the tale that goes behind it. Can you guys tell me about this? Tell me about On a Wing and a Prayer. I know I did my research again, but I have nothing to say other than I'm stressed out. I'm tired. I'm done.
Well, you researched it after, so obviously you're intrigued, right? Well, so it's a true life story, and truth is stranger than fiction. And this family was flying on a plane, and the pilot died, and they had to figure out how to land it. I mean, obviously they were super terrified that they were going to die. And then, we call the expert, Kerry Sorensen.
Yeah, that's where my character comes in, Kerry Sorensen. He happens to be an expert in this particular plane that Heather's character's husband, Doug White, has to land in order to save himself and his family. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty miraculous story. Doug White had very, very, very minimal flight experience, basically none. And this aircraft is pretty complicated, so and they were in bad weather. So it's really a miracle that he was able to land the plane safely.
It's like every single corner something was going on and causing chaos in their lives.
That's what makes a good movie.
Okay, come on. People watch horror movies. Those are much worse.
A lot of
like
obstacles,
people
a lot of
stabbing
conflict.
and like this is like a hopeful, happy story.
Yes, but I don't go after a horror movie watching all of the true story tales on YouTube to find out what really happened and find out what's going on with these people's lives. Did you guys get to meet the people that you guys portrayed?
I got to meet Terry White via FaceTime. She was so sweet. She talked to me. She's got like a big heart. She's super, religious and sweet and loving, and I'm super grateful I got to meet her. She's very cool.
You're very lucky.
You didn't get to meet him?
No, I wish I got the opportunity to talk to Kerry. I basically had to gather all my information from the little bit of video interviews that were out there on Kerry and some of the print interviews and kind of like decide what kind of guy he was, One thing is for sure is he was a reluctant hero. He's a pretty humble guy. He felt like he was just in the right place at the right time to do something good. But from a story arc perspective, him being able to help Doug White and his family was a really cathartic experience for him because he had a lot of trauma, losing his father and his stepfather both to plane crashes. So that's what I found most interesting about my character.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm almost out of time, but Heather, I just wanted to say that I'm broadcasting from the Red Room, and I think you're the only person that's ever actually been to the Red Room as Annie from Twin Peaks. So I got the red curtain behind me and everything. So
oh my God, you're in the Red Room? I wish we could see you. That's so cool. That's amazing.
We don't have the budget for speaking backwards, but we try.
Okay. Well, hi to you in the Red Room. Lucky you.
Well, thank you. All right, so there you go on A Wing and a Prayer. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. It's a good, fun movie for kind of the whole family, honestly, even though you're going to stress out your family just a little bit. So check it out on A Wing and a Prayer. Jesse Metcalf, Heather Graham, thank you, too, for hanging out with me this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
And welcome back to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan, and yes, we took a little trip down south to Socorro, New Mexico to visit a wonderful little place, the Loma Theater. And today we're here at the Loma Theater with Melissa. How are you, Melissa? She's the owner of Loma Theater. Can you tell me, how did you even acquire this place? What happened?
Well, I was managing it during the pandemic, and the former owner couldn't keep it any longer, so he asked if I would like to have it, and of course, I jumped on the opportunity.
Absolutely. Sure. Do we want a movie theater? Heck yeah, that sounds super fun. So how long have you ever wanted to run a movie theater or have that kind of...
Well, this has been closed down for a while in Socorro, and it's one of those places I think most Socorroans probably drive by it and say, boy, I sure would like to have that theater. And so probably for at least 10 years.
What kind of separates you and some of the bigger box theaters around here?
Well, the closest theater to us is Los Lunas, and then you have the chains up in Albuquerque, which people tend to go to, but I think they come to us when they want a personal service experience. Okay. For instance, whenever they order popcorn with butter, we always layer it. They don't even have to ask us to do that.
Oh, there it is. The extra, that's the good stuff right there. That's how you do it right.
We try to just cater to our guests, and it's just more personal. And if they want it louder, we'll turn it up. If they say, hey, it's a little warm in there, can you turn down the AC? Yeah, let's make it happen. It's almost like being in their own living room, but the big screen experience.
So having a smaller single screen theater, what kind of challenges are there compared to having a multiplex or something big?
Well, multiplexes get to show a lot of different movies. Mm-hmm. We can only show one at a time. That's the studio rules. Whenever they let us have a movie, we have to keep it a minimum of 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So that first weekend, it's usually a hot movie and everybody's coming out to see it. The second weekend, it's a little harder for us.
As a small theater, what is the best part of running your own movie theater? What is it?
Well, I think with any business owners, you get to make your own decisions, so we don't have to answer to corporate. So
you are corporate.
We're it.
You're the corporate office.
Our guests are our corporation.
Okay, there it is.
They tell us what they want, and so if they, specify, hey, can you bring in this movie? We try to do it. If they want a candy, I see you guys don't have this candy I want. Well, let me know. Let's get it. And so we get to kind of pick and choose more, I think, and just making everyone happy. And
are you open for special events and private screenings, or have you done that, or do you guys do that?
We do. We have, a lot of people have their birthday parties here. We make it real affordable. Okay. So they just rent out the theater from us and do whatever they want in there, and we just kind of host for them and
help them clean up a little bit after, make sure there's not too much streamers and popcorn all over the place.
Yeah, it's not too bad usually. Everybody's really cool and they pick up after themselves.
That sounds great. Yeah. So what do you owe your successes to?
I would say New Mexico Tech for sure. They're the ones who got the Loma going again. First State Bank. This is their movie theater. And so we basically lease it from them. So First State Bank. My team here at the Loma, my team is fantastic. Anybody that comes in and is our guest, they know they're going to get the best customer service because our team just rocks. And then, of course, the community. Our community, we love them so much. And we have people that actually come in that they don't like a horror movie, but they want to support us. So they'll watch it just to watch it and keep our doors open. So yeah.
They come in and torture themselves during a horror movie just so you can keep your doors open another week. There you go.
Some of them do, yeah.
So how do they find out about movie times, screenings, special events? How do we go find that?
Well, the best place is probably Facebook. I know not everybody has Facebook.
It's okay.
Next best place is lomatheater.com, and that's theater with an ER at the end. And then they could always call 575-835-8967 for show times as well.
There you go. Check them out, lomatheater.com. Give them a call at 575-835-8967. Melissa, thanks for hanging out with me this morning.
Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for coming down.
No worries. We're going to go check out a movie now. That's
awesome.
And coming up next, Bill Skarsgård. You might know him as Pennywise, but he's jumping into the John Wick series, John Wick Chapter 4, and we talk to him and settle an internet debate, I think, all right here on New Mexico Rising. If you're a big fan of the John Wick series, you know, the assassin that basically loves his dog a little too much, we have a continuation of that series. Part 4 of the series carries on with the life of that assassin doing his assassiny thing. What I love about the series is that nobody in this universe is actually a good guy, maybe for the biggest baddie of them all. And I have that biggest baddie right here on our show right now. Let's talk to Bill Skarsgård. How are you, buddy?
I am excellent. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing fantastic. All right. We got John Wick Chapter 4. Can you tell me about your character and how you got involved and jumped into the big role of being one of the big bad guy antagonists in all of this?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was a fan of the franchise before. I think I'd seen at least 2, if not all 3 of the movies before this was approached. Before they approached me with this, and yeah, it's just the world and the universe is so fun and bizarre. And on top of that, you have, you know, Keanu Reeves' incredible idiosyncratic charisma that, you know, only he has, some of the best action there is out there, you know. So it was a thrill to be a part of it, and I was approached with the opportunity to be the antagonist of the movie in the 4th installment of the franchise. And just like any sequel, the spectacle just keeps on growing. So the 4th one is a lot. It's the biggest bang of the franchise, if you will.
And it's actually getting really high positive ratings, and it's kind of leading into maybe a spin-off film, The Ballerina, and maybe a television series, The Continental. Is there anything that you can talk about for those, or should we just go see the movie first, then maybe we'll talk about them next time around?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite incredible. I just love the story. You know, David Leitch, who I've worked with as well before, David and Chad created the first movie, which was a smaller movie in terms of budget compared to other sort of big Hollywood action movies. And the plot line was Keanu Reeves' dogs gets killed, and he's really upset about that and just kills everybody for it, you know? So it was fun. It was not taking itself too seriously. And then there were a lot of these kind of cool kind of, oh, there's a universe here. There's the Continental, and there's a hotel, and there's a secret underground organization that has a lot of power and assassins and so forth. And because of the popularity of the first movie, this universe has just kept on growing and growing and growing. And it's quite that story in of itself, you know. I'm so happy for for Chad and Keanu who really built this thing, you know. And you're right, you know, there's spin-offs, there's all in the same universe. It's like this little micro Marvel universe of just, you know, gun few and martial arts and violence. And they're doing a TV show, there's talks about a video game. I mean, who knows? It's very cool.
And okay, so I have this one question from the world of the lore of the internet. And I thought the perfect person to kind of settle this is you. There's a rumor going around saying that Mary Poppins and Pennywise are the same species of alien, that one feeds off the scares and fear of children, and the other one feeds off the children's happiness. What are your feelings or thoughts on that? Is this true? I kind of want to settle this debate and at least ask, you know, the guy. I have him here.
Wow, that's the first time I heard that theory. I don't think Pennywise would stand a chance against Mary Poppins. I'll just for the record, put that out there. So, and maybe also for the record, I hope that love triumphs over fear and hate. So, that's a very interesting theory. I like it. You know, the dichotomy between good and evil is sort of the essence of a lot of stories and also life itself, right? So let's live the Mary Poppins way.
All right, good. But I don't think Disney's ever gonna do a crossover between the two, but I hope, all right? That'd be hilarious. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Bill Skarsgård, thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I wanna tell everybody to go check out John Wick, Chapter 4. It's in theaters now, so thank you for joining me this morning, Bill.
Thanks a lot, man. Bye.
All right, and that's it for New Mexico Rising. Before we go, I want to give out a pair of passes right now to the Loma Theater in Socorro. A pair of passes. If you're in Socorro, email me right now. The email is newmexicorising@gmail.com and tell me your favorite celebrity. Who is your favorite celebrity? Who are you a big fan of? And I will give you a pair of passes to go to the Loma Theater in Socorro. But if you don't live in Socorro, do you know what? Send us your favorite celebrity anyway, and I will get you a family 4-pack of passes to Albuquerque Golf and Games. Yes, it's that unlimited arcade right off of Wantabo. So tell me if you're in Socorro, I'll get you a pair of movie passes. Or if you are in Albuquerque, then tell me then your favorite celebrity, and I'll get you ABQ Golf and Games passes. First 2 people that do that, one of each, all right? Do it right now. NewMexicoRising@gmail.com. Until next week, that was New Mexico Rising. Love you guys.